And good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here. Um, told you gonna be a little changes. Told you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's me, it's the one, it's the only piano man. I am here. Welcome to the long run. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring part two of this gumbo making to the stage. It's the one, it's the only. Good morning, Bishop.
Good morning.
Good morning, man. I am here. Just a lot going on, man. Just a lot going on. How you doing, Bishop?
Hey, can't complain. I'm in
Man,
here shaking it up and making the best gumbo ever with my fam, Piano Man.
yeah, man. We gonna do the best we can this morning. We're not gonna be on here too long today because I've got to go to the bank and handle up on some business today. And so you know how that kind of stuff go. But I just want to check
Yeah.
in with the peeps, let them know Piano Man is still here and the Bishop is still here. And I know um, Twister still here and JB still around and everything. But I just want to go ahead and get this party started, just to see where everybody is and how everybody's doing. And we're gonna talk a little football here and just talk about what I saw uh, at uh, at Senior Bowl and how my experience, Bishop, at Senior Bowl changed my perspective. Okay, and uh, and
Okay.
everything. And but before we do that, you know how we do it. Nothing changed over here but our clothes and our socks and shoes and everything. But the first thing I want to do is I want to go over here to this chat and uh oh, uh oh, you already know. Let's do it. I hadn't done this in Oh my God. Sir, y'all already know it is the queen honeybee herself. It is Latoya. Good morning, Latoya, and roll tide to you. How you doing? What the business is, Latoya? Quit playing, girl, and act like you know. You know what the business is. Quit playing. Quit playing. What's up, Bino? What's up? It's the GM of the 401k crew. Good morning and roll tide, Bino. I appreciate that. We're gonna talk about those interviews in just a second. Martavius Heath, what's up, my brother? Good morning and roll tide to you. Stephen Hicks and the No Mercy crew. Him and OG Gill holding it down real tight. Him and the OG Gill and the voices of No Mercy. Good morning, Stephen Hicks, and roll tide to you, my friend. Go roll tide to you. Roll tide to you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do I see Gwen? Good morning, Gwen. Roll tide. What the business is, Gwen? You know. Quit playing, girl, and act like you know. You know what's up. You already know what's up. Quit playing, girl. William Bryant. Roll Tide to you, my brother. Good morning and roll tide. How you doing, William? Oh, William, man, we got to catch up on some stuff, man. We got to catch up on some stuff. Yes, we do. Uh-huh. Who else up in here? Let me scroll back down to the bottom. Hey, good morning. My producer Dwight is in the house. Good morning, Dwight. How you doing, my man? All right, roll tide to you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Well, that's about it right now. Let's just hop right to it because I said I'm not going to be on here long. But the first thing I want to talk about is the fact, Bishop. Again, I want to thank you for hipping me to uh, Grayson. That was my second interview that I had when I was at Senior Bowl, and Grayson would, and I'm gonna tell you like this: Grayson was most gracious. Grayson was most gracious, Bishop, and
Appreciate that.
man, I'm gonna tell you what, and I can tell his parents are super duper parents. And you know the interview that he gave, he's very
Yeah.
sure of himself, and he's most humble, very humble and appreciative for where he's come from, but he's also appreciative for what he where he is now. He had very great presence of and awareness of what was happening to him in the moment. So, Bishop, I want to thank you for for introducing me to Grayson. That was all right. That was one of my
Appreciate.
Great videos there.
Yeah, man. It was a great week for him. He definitely moved up the charts, and he now knows what he needs to work on and be ready at the combine. So, and then we just appreciate you, Piano Man, because his dad was on cloud nine when he rolled in, and he partaked of the festivities of Mardi Gras there.
Oh boy.
So he was rolling.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm glad. Listen, I'm sort of glad he didn't stick around. And listen, I'm just glad that the Senior Bowl wasn't held in New Orleans, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
That's
There,
all we need to
all I'm
say
gonna say about that. There, yes,
right
sir,
there.
Bob. I'm glad, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna say this, Bishop. When they say, and this is something that I saw when I was there, and I've always heard of the statement that the draft begins in Mobile. That's no lie.
Yeah.
That's no lie. That's not even an exaggeration. It's for true. It's really for true. Let me go back to the chat. Uh-oh, she's here, y'all. Training my dragon. The one, the only, is KT. Good morning, KT. What the business is, KT? Girl, you already know.
No.
And act like you know. Roll Tide, KT. Good morning to you. Good morning. I saw As the World. Good morning, Roll Tide, my brother. Good morning, Roll Tide, my brother. Yes, sir. But when they say that the draft starts in Mobile, Bishop,
Yeah.
man, that's no stretch of the imagination. That's
No.
no stretch of the imagination at all. It's I'm serious. And that's why I said the other day, the last time I was on here, if you are a football fan, whether you're college or pro, you literally owe it to yourself to go to the Senior Bowl. Even if you don't stay for the game, you owe it to yourself. You will be amazed at the practices, the fanfare, the different little just the different little things that go on with it with the Senior Bowl. It's nothing like anything that you've ever seen. It's on a different level, Bishop. It's on a different level. And I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself. And what it did for me, Bishop, it caused me to view the game of football, not just Alabama football, but football in general. It caused me to view the game differently. Those few days in Mobile caused me to view the game differently, Bishop. I have a different approach to it now. And and I have a different respect for it. I have a different respect for the game of football. I've played it. I've helped coach. I've helped analyze. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm the greatest at it because there's still a lot of old school isms, Bishop, that's in my brain with it. But I am fastly embracing the newness of things. I'm fastly embracing the new terminologies. They're the same concepts of what I was used to, but in a much more deeper fashion, a much more up-to-date fashion, different things that these players are asked to do. And then the other thing that you have to realize, and this is something that I would tell people from any fan base, especially the old schoolers, yes, football is a game of heart. Yes, football is a game of will, skill, power, passion, and all that good stuff. But you have to really use your brain a lot more now, Bishop, and you have to understand not just what the players do or what the position does, but you also have to understand why it's happening that way. Why? Why are they? And you and I discussed this a couple of days ago. Why do we go into a particular offensive set when the defense is in a particular defensive set, but you're not just looking at the whole defense in its totality, Bishop, but you're looking at it in segments, because even though they're running, let's just say we all know about the 4-2-5. Everybody's talked about the 4-2-5. But the 4-2-5, when I was looking at it at the Senior Bowl, even though they say they'll give you a base, and I'm gonna let you, I'm not gonna say I'll let you. I want you to, Bishop, to elaborate on what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Even though it's a 4-2-5,
Mm-hmm.
every position out there has a particular job to do within the confines of a called defense. It's almost as if every position has its own particular defense that it has to run within the whole scheme of the said defense, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want you to elaborate on that because you and I sort of talked about it. I should have wrote it down how I said it when you and I were talking about the things that I saw. What sometimes, Bishop, it's
Mm-hmm.
not the fact that a player can't play the position. Sometimes it's the fact that maybe they're lined up in the wrong part of the position. Let me
I
make it
never.
even clearer.
Yeah. I
You
know what
remember
you're
that when
talking
I
about.
said that?
Yeah.
As sometimes when you're wanting a person, you're wanting a player who is actually left-handed, you want him to play on the right side of the ball. If you're wanting him to do that and they're left-handed, then Bishop, what's going to end up happening is unless you train them, and I'm talking about you have to extensively train them, because when they are naturally left-handed, things that they do is going to promote what they're used to, their strong side, if you will. And that's their left side, their dominant side. If you put a left-handed person, unless they're ambidextrous now, if you take a left-handed person and put him on the right side and he's not comfortable, you're going to have problems right there. And that's what I want you to elaborate on as into the psychological
Yeah.
aspect of the
Yeah.
game right there.
Psychological. Yeah. You're definitely. You, that's the evolution, and that's the chess part of the game of football. Because understand what Piano Man is now talking about is understanding the X and O's and the philosophy behind how you set up a certain way of running your offense, and also the same on defense is understanding uh, who can handle crossing over if they're left-handed that can play a right-handed position. Um, a lot of times in your offensive line, as an example, a lot of times somebody might be a left-hander, but is able to be called upon to do the right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably the best that you have, but that don't mean that it comes naturally. He has to constantly work on it because he's left-handed.
That's it.
And then on top of that, you got, as an offensive line, you have to communicate because you have to move succinctly as one. The best running teams, they move succinctly and they fit within the parameters of their scheme that they're running.
Mm-hmm.
I.e., we've seen a lot of teams show that. Uh, we know that Indiana showed it the best this year,
Mm-hmm.
being able to establish blocks 2 to 3 yards and stay uh, enlarged as their backs run by. And the only thing our defensive lineman could do is reach out by arm versus being able to shed a block because they know within that schematic and that scheme that they trust their counterparts to make sure they do what they do, so it looks like a well-oiled machine. And so, we were talking, and you were bringing up that sometimes people can be maybe on supposed to be on the offensive line, but maybe they're out of order, and it is just not flowing correctly. Well, that's where our coaches have to acknowledge: do I have somebody that can go in that place so I can put the other person back at the rightful position where they'll be able to flow like water? If not, then you do what you got to do to fit your five best players on there. But
Exactly.
the key is just to help our folks out there. Just think of it like this: if I have five office linemen and I want to run uh, odds and evens, odds is always left, evens is always right,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm running 36 crossbuck. That means that running back is running through the sixth hole. Well, the
Yep.
sixth hole is just off of tackles behind.
Yep.
Now, if he's left-handed and it's 36, that's right-handed position that has to dominate their block in order for the play to go.
Yep.
And if
Yep.
a left-handed person has to really work out on making the proper step because he's left-handed, not right-handed.
Right. Right. And
And
that,
so,
Bishop, it
go ahead.
makes a difference. It makes a difference. Like you were saying, it has to flow like water. It makes a difference. And go ahead, Bishop. I had to throw that in there. It makes a difference. Uh, even if a left-handed player is playing on the right side and they are uncomfortable playing on the right as a southpaw,
Right.
it's just like a guy with a boxing style and they fight from a southpaw position and you wanted them to fight from a right hand stance. If the results are not going to be pretty all the time. And this is why Bishop and I are saying that if you're going to do that, it takes extensive training and you got to really work with them. And this is what JB Governor talks about, the development. And this is where film study comes in and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
Bishop, I saw that during the Senior Bowl. I
Yeah.
saw that during the Senior Bowl. I
And
did.
let us let me bring a clearer picture. What he's talking about is, remember the one-on-ones you guys were seeing different segments, and they were showing where the D lineman and O lineman was going after it, and there was Overton, G baby, my family, Grayson Holton, and a couple others where
Mhm.
they were lined up on the guard, but the running was going to a different gap. There's different techniques to reach
Mhm.
and understand that person that G baby was lined up was not the play side place where he needed to go. It was
Mhm.
actually the guard. And so when he ran into the guard now has to know, since he came into his area, he you're not blocking a guy, you're blocking your area. Once he shows, he has to engage. And that's where we talk about the chess match of being able to know that, okay, that player passed them off. They probably threw their hand out. The one that thought he was coming after them, he threw a hand out, but he didn't feel him. So now he needs to start looking to the outside or anything that's we call a robber or a blitzer, because he even though he lined up on me, he went to this hole. So then I got to let him go. And I need to now be looking and be ready, because let's say, for instance, I'm running the ball. Well, then when I run at him and he leaves, I need to be looking for the next off color jersey so I can make a seal. So when my running back runs through, he runs clean.
Mm-hmm. And
And
when
that's
you
just
talk,
being able to work as one. Uh, and when I paint that picture, you, it's like, okay, it's like when Najee Harris and our boy, oh, what's 22's that used to run for you?
that's Najee Harris.
Najee Harris, and he runs with the Ravens right now.
Oh, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Okay. Derrick Henry, when you guys were at top notch, your offensive line made it so clean that he would never get touched until he got to the second level,
Yeah.
which is the linebackers and safeties. That's come up and playing in a squat position. So when you start understanding that, that's why when you get to the Senior Bowl, the NFL scouts are at the practices more than the game,
Right. Yep.
because they know they're going to get some live action, not vanilla, but they're going to actually go one on one. So then you got to show your best, and they want to know, if I pick this player when given a task, do they slough? Do they hit their gap? Do they make the proper step? Do they shut with the right hand? When and oftentimes, if someone comes to block on you, you got to throw your arm to shuck them, as we call it. To It's like a punch. You're throwing a punch to make sure you stop them so they don't come clean on your linebacker.
That's it.
Everything is to make sure we keep our linebackers clean.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And I'm going back to um, something that you said about the drills. And
mhm,
when I was showing um, when I came live that day, I was showing the defense, because the offense was like right across
right,
the way there, but they
right.
really were not showing too much, and the actual line was on the other end, and uh, and everything. But what I saw, and I was sharing with you, Bishop, I
Mhm,
used Tim Keenan, Grayson, and LT Overton as examples that I saw when they were running drills of how to shed blocks, and they were looking at that. And
mhm,
what I noticed is when especially Tim Keenan, when his drill changed sides, his intensity changed. And
mhm,
sometimes you're not used to coming
mhm,
from a way, because the whole scheme of how you play the position changes from side to side,
right,
because they're not the same. See, we've got it in our brains as fans a lot of time, Bishop. All you got to do, just get in there and do it, and blah 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 blah. No, there's a mental side to that, because
yeah,
I was watching uh Tim Keenan when he was coming from one side versus when they lined him up at another side. The results of it. Let's put it like this: the process of the result was different. I was looking more at the process as opposed to just the end result. Yes, he got to the quarterback. Yes, he got to the running back. But when he came from one side, it was a lot smoother. But when he came from another side, it was a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
It was challenging. See, so the point that Piano Man is making right here is that when we've got to, I can't say we, let me just make it personal. I'm looking at it now, Bishop, from not the end result. I believe I'm going to get a cool end result. But what I'm looking at, Bishop, is the process of how we get to the result. This may not be the best analogy, but this is how I liken it. I liken it to an algebraic equation.
Correct.
Not trying to be philosophical or all deep, but I'm looking at it from an algebraic perspective.
Flow like water. Come on.
What happens is that you know you're going to get a particular answer, but what are your workings? What is the process to getting the result that you're supposed to get? So if you know that let me see, you got your boy, it's been a minute, but you got your associative property, distributed property, commutative property, right? Well, those are your three areas of algebra. Well, what happens is, I forgot which one it is, but there is one particular branch of algebra that one side mirrors the other side, that you're going to come up with the same answer even if you work the problem backwards. Well, when you're on defense, a lot of times in a particular blocking scheme, sometimes you're going to get the same result, but the working of the problem is not going to be the same. You're not going to come out with the same process. So what do I mean by that? When I saw one player come from the right side, he was in there. He ran, he knew how to shed his block. He knew how to swim. He knew how to do it all. But when you ask that same player to come from the opposite side, now the same concept, but because you're coming from a different side. And the challenge for him is not necessarily just the player in front of him, but the challenge is now you got to take your non-dominant hand and become dominant. And it took him a little longer to get to his desired object, i.e. the quarterback, i.e. the running back. So they're not ambidextrous. That's all I'm saying. So I liken it to an algebra problem, Bishop. You got to know your different properties. So what works on the left side a lot of times, now some people might not agree, but that's how I see it. What works for one player on the left side might not work for that same player on his right unless he's been trained.
And to I hear what you're saying. So let me give a cliff note. That's why sometimes certain players, when they do come in, they stay in that same position. You can count when they come in, they're coming in on the right or the left because that's what they're strongest at. Versus someone who's elite, you can move around and you still get the same results.
So I'm just saying that I'm viewing the game a lot more critical now, not just as a fan, but I'm viewing it from a more or less a player and a coach perspective. And I'm looking to see, I'm gonna be honest with you, Bishop. And I told you this, and I told you that I was going to say this. We've got to, and this is in any fan base, but since we're basically Bama, and we do have other fans in here, and I welcome everyone, but be realistic with your team. Be realistic. Take those glasses off, because it's time to. We're living in an era now that you're looking at you. Okay, I got to keep it personal again. I'm looking at football, Bishop, from a more personal perspective of what my team really looks like.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing them to the Saban days. Stop that. Stop that too. That's just like me. I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. That's just like me still hung up on the steel curtain. Those days are over.
Yeah.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
The Mean Joes, the Dwight Whites, the L.C. Greenwood, the Jack Ham, the Jack Lambert, the Mel Blunt, the Lynn Swan, the Franco Harris, the Terry Bradshaw, the John Stallworth, the Mike Webster, all that kind of stuff. The Rocky Blyers, those days are over.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a new set of Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I'm using that as an example. I know a lot of times we love to say, well, we're Alabama. But guess what? Oh, and Bishop, you said, so we're going to let him in on something we talked about.
Go ahead.
But we're Alabama.
Remember,
and
this
somebody
is
else will say, but we're Georgia. And somebody else will say, but we're Oklahoma. And somebody else will say, but we're LSU. But the Big Ten, but Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Indiana says, what have you done lately? And that's the reality of it. All the SEC can say, Bishop, is it just means more. But Michigan, Ohio State, and Indiana says, but we're winning more.
And you know what, Piano Man, I'm gonna give them straight the best gumbo ever. The bottom line is, you want to know how crazy this sounds?
Go ahead,
Take it
Bishop.
from an ex coach. Indiana ran a vanilla offense and a complex chess defense. And they watched so much film that they knew your tendencies and they knew scenarios that you 92% of the time would run it the way they drew it up, and they had adjustments. And due to that fact, they kept it on offense so vanilla that they ran it 51 times.
Yep. And guess what?
Go ahead.
Wait a minute, Bishop. And before you leave that, and guess what? And let's just keep it with Bama. And Bama couldn't stop it. I'm just talking about it from a defensive perspective. So remember, we talked about that. Not able to share the block. Not able to get to the quarterback.
Stay right there.
None of that. Yeah.
Because, see, here's where and it's our opportunity to grow. Because understand, we can't replay this last year, but understand it as fans, go a little deeper. Come into the chess side. No, we're leaving checkers alone. But now the chess side is understanding when they were reaching their blocks, they were dry blocking, and yet they were still running RPO. They found the way to actually be physical while doing RPO.
This is true.
And the simple fact is, we're talking 36 and 35 crossbuck. We're talking plays that have been run since I was little. They were running them, and they were getting major yardage, but it's a simple run, but to execute it and to block it up the way they did, it takes someone willing to go through the fire test during their practices and maybe making many errors during the practices, but finally getting it right to where they trust it to be uncomfortable and they got okay with being in that position to where it went to a new level. So
Yep.
when they were blocking, your backers couldn't flow because your backer was running into trash. And when they run into trash, that's when you get big plays in the rushing game.
And that's where we talked about the lack of physicality. We talked about the lack of the mental edge on the Bama side of the ball was not there on neither offense nor defense, and those things came back to haunt Bama in that one game. Uh, and in all actuality, I did make a statement, Bishop, and you know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, Bishop. I'm not saying this in bragging. And before I say this, good morning, Moon Rocker. Moon Rocker, did I read right? You in a jury room, sir, and you checking in on the long run. I feel honored, but we ain't finna go jail now. I'm just picking at you. Well, good morning, Moon Rocket. Roll Tide to you, brother. Good morning, Martavius Heath. And I saw Ebony up in here and Linda P, the main lady. What's up, Linda P and Ebony? Good morning. Roll Tide to you. What the business is, ladies, you know, act like you know. Quit playing, ladies. Act like you know. Y'all know how Piano Man is. What the business is, ladies. All right. Good morning. Good morning, I bleed Crimson, brother. Good morning to you. Roll Tide to you. Yes, it is amazing. But wait a minute, I'm gonna put this up here. Martavius says something here. He says, I'm not a fan of the 4-2-5 schemes. We're gonna see how it works in 26. More of a 3-4 or 4-3 scheme. I prefer. I
Yeah,
got you. Yeah,
I
yeah,
got you.
I got you. Yeah.
And
And,
I
and
didn't see
yeah,
when I was a defensive coordinator, I was more apt to the 3-4. I'm more apt to that where I need my athletic tackling machines where I can come up on either side to show that it seems like a 4, but it's actually 3-4 with with what we call a squatter, a Wolverine. They call it different things in different deal, but it's almost like a walk up linebacker type, being able to come off the edge. And what it does is have them have the offensive line to be smart enough to pick it up and change their blocking schemes to make sure they block it up. So go ahead.
and one of the things that when you put it that way, I got to thinking about the I begin to, good morning, Governor. The governor is here, y'all. Good morning. The governor of Discord, Governor JB, is in the house. Good morning,
JB's
Governor.
in the house. JB wants some of this gumbo. Go on,
Come on,
man.
come on, man. Governor, first of all, how's the weather there, sir?
The weather is up and down, man. I had the girls. Girls been home since what? Friday, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they off today. Trust me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Go ahead. Go ahead and
But
spit. What you got
but
for us?
Just
But
give me a
let me. I'm
number.
gonna finish this right quick because
Okay, go ahead.
what I'm doing. I'm referencing something that I believe is saying, and he's telling me what he's referencing. But I'm gonna take it one step deeper. I believe he said, "Isn't it amazing the thing that you can accomplish with a physical O line?" Let's stop right there. When your O line lacks physicality, I'm gonna say something right here. When your O line lacks physicality, eventually the rest of your team gonna lack physicality too. I'm telling you now, the rest of your team is going to lack it. You're going to lack physicality on your offense, especially on the O-line. If your O-line coordinators, coaches, personnel, whomsoever it be, if your O-line personnel is teaching you that they want finesse versus physicality, take it from somebody who's played the game, and even though it was a long time ago, but you're not going to win that many games. And from an offensive perspective, Governor, from an offensive perspective, Bishop, and from an offensive perspective, Chat, you're not going to get that many first downs, and you sure as heck ain't going to get that many touchdowns. I'm telling you, you got to be physical on that O-line. Not finesse, physical. Physical. I'm just saying. The 85 Chicago Bears on offense and defense were physical. They manhandled you up there. The former Bama, and I said I wasn't going to do this, but I got to bring this in since I believe brings it up about the physicality of an O-line. Governor said a week or two ago, what differentiated Alabama from everyone else was their physical O-line. Go ahead, Governor.
But it's not just physical, though, because I'm not trying to be like a homer or we always talking negative. I'm starting to sound like Gil. Love my boy. Inside joke.
Oh,
I gotta
be. Go ahead, Governor.
But it's like Barrett Jones wasn't just physical. He took pride in what he did, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
He took pride on that offensive line. Not just in position. He did all positions. So when he took pride in it, his physicality followed. And his teammates, well, I would say, because they got different groups. All these position groups that we're talking about, they have like it's a clique. It's like a unit. The wide receiver unit, RB unit, cornerback unit, second D-line unit. They're units. So that O-line was Barrett Jones and the rest of them guys. It's too much to name. We'll be here all day. But they took pride in it. So in that pride came the physicality, came to the collective usiveness, and everybody was on the same page. That's why that line was so great. It wasn't just because they were physical, because they studied together, they hung out together, they took pride in what they did, they made sure if they missed an assignment, they took accountability for themselves. They held themselves to a standard. That's why that line was so great. That's why when we won a championship, that line was so great. Offense and defense. Jonathan Allen and them boys, they took pride in that line.
Yeah.
That's why they look so dominant.
But you know what though, JB? But and I got you on that. But even though they took pride in the line. But the point that I'm making is, if you had coaches that made them take pride in the line in being physical, don't get out there and we do no ballroom dance. We ain't waltzing with nobody. Like what you said, I hate to put the governor out there. I hate to put the governor out there. But governor said, what's this, 26? Governor said something 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Governor said 2 years ago, he said, I'm sort of paraphrasing right here. When you don't take pride in what you do, the pride of it causes you to become physical, because you're wanting to win the game, but you're not just wanting to win the game. You're wanting to win a series. You're wanting to win a down. You're just wanting to win all the way around. Something like that. Our governor put it something like that. But when you're not taking pride in that, and you're not taking pride in your physicality, and then your unit mate, the guys in the unit, are not challenging you and saying, hey, dude, you not coming up, and you making it bad on the rest of us. Get your in gear. Blah, 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 blah. That's what Governor talked about, that when that's missing, you're going to be missing playoffs. You're going to be missing championships. You're going to be missing scholarships. You're going to be missing people visiting you and everything, because guys on the outside that, that really want to come there and play for you, when they see that lack of pride gone, they're not coming. They're not coming.
I got a question for y'all.
Go ahead, Governor.
And I want Bishop to answer this too. Yo, you know how we always talk about Nick Saban, right? And the Nick Saban coaching tree. I want y'all to follow where I'm going. Nick Saban coaching tree and the successful coaches that we've had, offense and defense, and wide receiver coaches that he can make everybody. He puts people in the right spots. That's what he does. You know, a person who not always gets left out, but it's kind of like a distance, and that's what we're missing every single day nowadays. Scott Cochran.
Yeah.
Since he left, our physicality went out that door, because those guys used to go in the weight room to challenge him, and he challenged them. It wasn't our coaches. It was Scott Cochran.
Yeah. Now we get. Oh, okay. Yeah. Now we're having the right gumbo, because what he just said was a key element that's been oftentimes get left out. That is, if I understood, isn't that the strength and coordinator at that time?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And see, this is where it starts. I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times people don't include them in the equation, but they are part of the equation, because they're the ones in the winter and springtime and summer that's getting them built up to be able to perform at peak efficiency during the season. On top of that, when you have someone like that, where the players vibe that deep, they go through so many fire tests. By the time they come out, they are chiseled granite, athletes that are ready for the moment, because he challenged them personally, and what he got out of them, he would not allow. If they're having one of those days, he's the one that's going to keep them accountable. And because the standard at that time was already set, and you already said it because you were part of the process. So then you're sloughing, then you finna get the business.
I don't think they really understand how much Scott Cochran pushed Nick Saban. They don't, but see, they use Scott Cochran as a scapegoat. Oh, the players get injured, it's Scott Cochran. I'm like, dude, Scott Cochran is one of them guys. You have a favorite teacher in school. You'll get every other class, don't want to pay attention, but that person right there, he gets respect when you walk in. You sit down, you take your jacket off, you take your book bags out, take your book bag off, take your books out, you put your name on the top. You're a perfect student, because the level of respect that Scott Cochran had, he had that same level, just like Nick. People don't want to give him his flowers, or if they do, you don't hear it as much. I don't want to speak for other people, but that man right there, he is the fourth quarter program, bro. It's like, but we all try to imitate his voice. Dad, you get hyped just watching the video. Them guys coming out the tunnel when they faced against Notre Dame, that wasn't Nick Saban, that was Scott Cochran getting them boys hyped, bro. We miss that. That's what you need. Don't get me wrong, the coordinators, they bring what they bring. The Jeremy Pruitts, the Kirby Smarts, all that. They get in your face on the sideline. But we didn't see those clips behind the scenes. You know the clips that we saw behind the scenes? Scott Cochran. That's what we saw. We didn't see Kirby in practice. We didn't see the Jeremy Pruitts getting in their face in practice. We saw Scott Cochran. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. And shout out to Smith. Yeah. What you're telling is that is the root of the gumbo when it comes to being able to build a machine that's at peak efficiency is that you got to what you see on Saturdays is started with the Rue, which was what they do in the off season. Who's running the off season?
Mm-hmm.
In your case, it was Scott, and he ran it like a well-oiled machine, and they knew the standard, and they would hold each other to the standard.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, and all he has to do is do a look, and tighten up, and hey man, tighten up. That's when you have an organization, a squadron that's ready to go to war because they're paying attention to the details and in how they do things. A lot of times the physicality comes because consciously and their ability to work as one unit. We were saying that earlier. Understand what the offensive line, in order to be a Joe Moore award winning offensive unit, you got to play so good that when we see you as one unit. We can't pick certain people out that aren't doing their part or keep getting cross-faced. So that's
We've all,
where, and understand, running the ball is an art form. And I
yes,
know a lot of people don't pay attention, but those athletes on the offense and defensive line, they play a huge part. And if they're not physical at attack, but also mentally uh, astute to knowing what needs to happen if something changed on the other side, is
Mm-hmm.
highly important, because what it does is it changes trajectory. And if your scheme is not built for it, it will
Mm-hmm.
cause you to make you seem as if you're not astute to the game and not ready for your moment.
see. I don't think our guys were mature enough, and I'm just going to
Mm,
talk from a player standpoint. You're not mature enough yet. We say a
mm,
lot, but we're not mature
mm,
enough. Like I go back, I
mm,
just had a moment just now, Bishop,
mm,
because we used to talk about well, the offensive line is not making holes, or the running back is not hitting the holes when he needs to be.
mm,
Barry Sanders never had a great offensive line. He never had a line, bro.
mm,
And
Right.
for the old heads that know, they know he never had a great offensive line. Every
no.
time fight and he got the ball, it was like three dudes in front of him, but he made something happen. That's the difference between good running backs and elite running backs. You're gonna make something happen, and he was doing it in some Reeboks, bro, not
Mm-hmm.
cleats, some Reeboks.
Back.
Okay, so you got to take pride in what you do. Everybody who's played a sport, pee wee, middle school, collegiate, whatever, you always had two dudes. You had that one coach who everybody respected, regardless of what his position was. And then you had one player who would walk into the room and you knew it was business. All it takes is two people.
Yeah.
It don't need to be a whole team. The two people, them two alphas, is what really starts this engine. Everything else is going to connect and make the engine run. But you need two things that's actually going to start that engine and make it roar.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that collectively. Or if we do have it, we don't know who it is. Or they don't know who it is.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, Governor. Fourth quarter program starts a couple of weeks. I think that's what they said. I'm anxious to see um, who's going to be, and I saw where KT put in the chat. I want to see who's going to be the motivator. Who's over this fourth quarter program? Because what JB's saying, what Governor's saying right here is the truth. This particular time of the year, back when Scott Cochran was there, this was Scott Cochran's time.
Facts.
This was Scott Cochran's time. You didn't hear anything about any of the coaches, including Nick Saban. Now we knew he was running things and this, that, and the third. But when it came down to that fourth quarter program, that had Scott Cochran written all over it. And even those other coaches, and what Governor's saying true, he just didn't frame it like this, but even Nick Saban was accountable to Scott Cochran this time of the year. He ran that because they knew what was coming. That when spring came, when it was time for spring drills, those 3 to 4 weeks, those few days of spring drills, those spring drills were springboards, if you will, not just for getting ready for spring and getting the juices flowing, but these guys had the first game of the year already in sight. They wasn't just preparing for spring. They were preparing for fall. They were preparing for summer. They were preparing for what Governor says, film study. Even in their film study, it got physical. Everything was taken to the next level. So I'm anxious to see, Governor, okay, I'm just going to put it in the way Piano Man sees it, because like I said, watching the Senior Bowl, it changed my whole aspect on everything, how I view this thing. I want to see if we gonna get in there, and are we gonna be physical, or are we going to the ballroom dance? Are we gonna be waltzing all night? Are we gonna be knocking something down and keeping it down? Governor, go back to that Notre Dame clip again. Go back to that clip again, Governor. Run us back through when them cats came out, that when Alabama was coming out the tunnel and Notre Dame saw us. Tell us that.
Look, man, that's my favorite clip. Okay. They came out of that tunnel. Notre Dame was hyped. They were hyped. Bama came out of that tunnel with them fours up. One was hopping around. The other one was cursing. The other one was pushing. They came out like on some gladiator. Is this like on some gladiator type stuff? Like, we're not losing this game. And if we are losing this game, we're not losing this fight. It was one or the other. We were walking out of there with a W one way or another. Either physically off the field or on the field. And them Notre Dame boys were scared. Okay? But I got two people in mind. I'm just throwing it out on them. I don't know everything. It's just my instincts. Two people that I think is going to take over the reins for this season. And yeah, I might be surprised on who I say. Number one is going to be Keelan Russell. And the other one's going to be Dijon Lee.
Okay.
Those are my two. Not Bray Hubbard, not Sab, not Yanze Pierre. Dijon Lee. Why I pick him? One, he's young. And two, he has he just gives off some type of I'm here now type vibes. For me, Keelan is going to be the dude. Like, I want to be that guy that you put on with the AJ McCarrons, the Bryce Youngs, and the Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Say Tua. I didn't say Bryce. Did I say Bryce Young? No.
Yeah.
I did say Bryce. Yes.
Yeah.
So the AJ McCarrons, the Bryce Youngs, the technical, and the Mac Jones. So you got the AJ, the ones that's going to be the time management. Pick your poison, pick your spots, get the people down the field. Your Bryce Youngs with his accuracy, and the way he conducts the offense. And your Mac Jones was sitting there and actually sitting there paying attention and watching film. All three in that one person right there. That's what I see.
Well, Bishop, what you see?
Man, I was finishing up my gumbo when he was talking, because that's what we've been saying this entire year for both universities. When you don't run the football and you're not physical at the point of attack, or when you are physical, but you leave the scheme to go right back to the pass, you leave so much meat on the bone at that time that why even start eating if you're not going to finish what you start? And there's been times that you guys have ran the ball and gained a lot of yards, and that would be the last time we would see anything closely resemblant to that. And because both teams will go back to the past, even though they show they have the capabilities to do so. But for whatever reason, the scheme and the aptitude of their offensive coaches, they have a set pattern that needed to be broken, because they needed to go through this fire test this year to understand they're in a new arena, and it causes for a new level of mastery. And you can't go off of what you brought to the table. Because if nothing else, as much as both fan bases have been saying, if they catch any one of our shows, they would constantly hear, you cannot run 16 rushing attempts for 27 yards and expect to win the game. You can't do it. Not going to do it. Let's just playoff football. There's so much film. By the time you get to the playoffs, remember I kept saying the only thing you have is your fundamentals and film study. Because everybody on saw 12 games of your film. So the film is undefeated. So now you go back to the fundamentals. Okay. I.e., you have to establish a new line of scrimmage. How do you do that? By running the ball and possessing the clock and controlling the game, and then throwing your either RPOs or play action off of that.
Hey, not to cut you, I seen Dwight Smith. Put back up there real quick, the piano.
Okay.
So I just have a different perspective. I'm not telling Christian is wrong, because I can't argue with somebody who has experience in that program, who was successful and accomplished a lot of things in that program. If I was able to ask Christian this, I would ask him, hey, quick question. If he's been in the fourth quarter program or in the strength conditioning, or in that room now, what was the energy now to back then? I will bet you 100% he would choose the back then energy than the energy now.
Yeah.
And understandably so, because the back then there was accountability. Believe it or not, a lot of people, don't understand that winning starts with accountability. And, a lot of people is like, well, I don't like discipline. No, you better learn to like discipline, because what we just saw in the playoffs was a team that was methodical, vanilla, and disciplined, and cause you to in the phone booth to make the first mistake, and then capitalize every time, and then exploit it. Does that sound familiar? Am I telling any lies?
No.
No.
I won't even say vanilla, man, because don't disrespect vanilla right there. The reason why I say don't disrespect vanilla
Go
because
ahead.
vanilla we know we're gonna get. It's one of the original flavors, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you have vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. If anybody knows, back in the day, I know we're telling our age right now.
Oh,
You used to
Nepatella.
get you
And
used
the
to get the
Neapolitan.
little box.
Politan.
You get the ice creams in that little box. They had 3 flavors: vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. Like, so
I knew where you were going.
don't tell me it's vanilla. We already know what vanilla gives you. It's one of the original flavors. It's like red, blue, and yellow. The original core.
Well,
Whatever you
Oh,
put into it is what you get your different flavors with. They're the
oh,
best.
oh.
well, bro, since you're gonna bring it, look, since you're gonna put it in the form of ice cream, I'm a black walnut and a butter pecan man myself.
I'm
And
a
so
Russian.
that means I'm old
Well,
school. I'm old school. You know, give me some of that butter pecan and black walnut with that Neapolitan and all the rest of them. But JB telling the truth though. Why not get a mixture? Why not get a mixture?
Your
And
ingredients what gets it better.
because I'm just saying, I like the energy back in Christians in them day more than what I see now. I'm with Governor on that one, Dwight. I got you, and I listen to Christian too. Shout out to Christian Miller and the Miller's Ed because he comes with some fire content. He
Big
does.
fact.
But I tend to embrace the energy level that Christian came from versus the energy level and the result level of what I'm seeing now. That's what we're getting at. Uh, What they may be doing may be better now than then. But what we're saying is that the energy and the accountability is not the same.
The reason why I played hurt back then is because of that energy.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That
And
tells you
understand that we know we can't go back to that time, but we need to find the recipe that allows that type of energy to flow now. That's what's missing because understand, physicality goes both ways.
yeah.
and that's not just with Alabama.
Yeah,
For the entire SEC, bro.
facts. Oh,
That's
you ain't said nothing but a word.
what I'm
Come
saying,
on.
Bishop. We're not just talking about the Alabama.
No, no, that's what I'm saying.
Entire SEC. That is nobody scares you. You're not scaring nobody no more.
No, mm-mm.
They're telling you this on a daily basis. The SEC is soft. That's basically what they said to y'all. Y'all are soft. I would never thought in a million years you would hear people say the SEC is soft, regardless of what it is.
Yep.
Wow, you
And
nailed it.
Governor. And
And you
Governor.
know how you know when somebody runs it 50 plus times on you and is telling you to stop them.
You couldn't do that against us. Are you stupid?
Man,
Go ask
that's
Leonard.
why I say this upcoming year. Uh, I know a lot of people follow me on X. I'm saying this year it's time to be forged by fire. You got to start telling the truth, and you got to face it. Otherwise, you're gonna get the same. We can't. We can no longer keep burying our head in the sand and acting like something's going to change by just saying it. The work has to be done now. It has to be established by being accountable, telling the truth, even if the truth hurts. Uh, the truth will set you free. And I'd rather be free than try to tell a lie and try to dress up a pig.
A pig gonna always be a pig if you put him in a
Pig.
tuxedo. He gonna run for the mud. That's what he looks for. That's his habitat.
But you
Or
know
he
what I'm
looks for.
saying? It's just like, okay, hey, y'all know I come from Oklahoma. When have we not been able to run the ball? Just like Alabama. When have we not been able to run the ball?
2020.
Good night. And it's the most basic thing, but it's so important that in the playoffs, the teams that were able to establish running the ball advance. And that's as simple as I could put it.
So give me a team full of pigs. You know why? We say so much about pigs and dirty. You basically eat what they eat. But put some food out there in front of 12 pigs and
Ooh.
leave nothing left. Bones and everything gone. Give me a team full of pigs.
Mm.
You want to get rid of something? Throw that in a pile of pigs, bro. See, piranhas take the meat off and leave the bone. Pigs don't leave no bones, bro. Everything is gone. Everything.
Well, all I'm gonna say is this right here. Governor, I went to the Senior Bowl last week.
Congratulations, bro. Credentials.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
There's credentials.
Hey, credentials. Hey, appreciate and you guys, thank you so much to Piano Man. He took care of my family. He took care of them for sure.
And Governor, I went to Senior Bowl last week, man, and I told Bishop and told a couple of others. It changed my perspective of how I view the game. And so we're gonna get ready to go because I got to run to the bank. I got Governor, I've got business to go handle. Listen, when you have credentials, there's business that goes along with these credentials, right? You know,
Right,
so
right.
You got to go handle up on some businesses. So I got to go. But I saw something, Governor, and I'm gonna say this: that the way I'm gonna end the show, I have two new words. I always end talking about three-stroke Charlie, this, that, and the third, and that won't change. But I want to start telling Bama fans, here's the catch. Be realistic. The guy who stares in the beer commercial, stay thirsty, my friends. I want to tell Bama fans, be realistic, my friends. Be realistic. You can keep the crimson colored glasses on if you want to. And there's nothing wrong with us being fans. But there comes a point, Governor, when you have to call it over on our side of town, you got to call a spade a spade. And you're gonna have to know when it's not what it's supposed to be. And when it's not what it's supposed to be, it goes back to what Curtis Ellison just said, and he just said it begins with coaches. Don't be afraid to call it out. Now, I'm going to say this, and I heard this last week, and I'm saying something about it today. On this third day of February in the year of our Lord 2026, if Coach DeBoer is saying that it was a lack of production on the O-line, and you had to relieve Coach Cap of his duties, well, when you going to relieve some other folks of their duties because there was lack of production all over the place? Don't just highlight, don't just remove what everybody fussing about. There's some more lack of production. And if it's not going to be addressed, then what you should have done was, relieving Coach Cap of his duties is one thing. But are you going to relieve the other lack of production, Governor? Or is it going to just be more of the same, and then you're going to put a Band-Aid on it, and then before you know it, you got a busted pipe? Matter of fact, the pipe is busted already. I know the word is burst, but busted. We talking football. It's a busted play. You got lack of production all over the place. Coach Shep left because the Lord blessed him with another job of a higher position. So you fielded with Derek Nix. Okay, that's one thing. Your lack of production was all over the place, not just on the O-line. You had lack of production on the D-line, Governor and Bishop. You had lack of production on the defense. You had lack of production with the running backs. You had lack of production. Let's be realistic. Where's your other cuts coming from? Or was this just a warning shot that you're sending? I think that we're going on 3 years now. This is just Piano Man's perspective. If some things don't get better, it really ain't just a matter of if, it's a matter of when. What are you going to do about it? Because we're Bama fans, and we're used to winning. We're used to saying standard starts here. Listen, we hadn't won an SEC championship, since 23? Georgia has won the last 2. But Governor brings up a true fact. But what else has Georgia done? I give it to you, nothing. What has LSU done? Absolutely nothing. Auburn hadn't even been in the equation. Ole Miss got to where they got to and got knocked out. So the SEC is right now, when it comes down to natties, hadn't seen one since 22. That's the reality of it, folks. So it means more? I don't know anymore. But I just know this. From an Alabama perspective, you got to do more than just relieve Coach Cap of his duties. That's all I'm saying. So from here on out, be realistic. I might not have said it right, but that's just how I put it. Better be realistic, because what I saw at Senior Bowl, Governor and Bishop, some of these guys won't make it in the bigs, because that's a whole total different order when you get there. And ladies and gentlemen, when you get to that Senior Bowl and you blessed to get chosen, oh no, sir, no ma'am. It's not college coaches that's coaching this. No, sir. No, ma'am. These are pro coaches. And let me tell you something. And it's a whole different scream, Governor. When they screaming at you, it's a different scream, because now it's real money on the line. They showing you what his life is going to be like to a minimal. And like Governor said, we're not going to disrespect vanilla like that. But for the lack of a better term, generic. They showing you the generic side of things. And like in one of my interviews, Carver from Washington, who said we had 2 days to learn a playbook. The minimal side of it. All we're saying is, folks, this year for whomever your team is, we're Bama over here. But if there are any other teams in the SEC, fans watching this, whoever your team is, you better start being realistic about your team too. Because trust me, tomorrow, Bishop and Governor, I'm going to give y'all, what's tomorrow? Wednesday? Tomorrow, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, the Lord willing and the creek don't rise, Governor and Bishop, I'm going to give y'all my way too early prediction of who I think going to win the Natty.
And just to add this little tidbit, when me and Piano Man were conversating, there were coaches yelling at those D linemen that we've been highly impressed with, because they weren't at the level that they needed to be, and they were yelling at them. And remember, these are the elite of the elite that were chosen to go to the Senior Bowl. So if they're yelling at them, they're not yet finished. And so there's so much meat on the bone. But the thing is, when you get to that level, accountability has to start with you. And they're just letting them know it'll cut your money off quicker than you know it if you don't pay attention to the details. So why not just get started now with our universities and hold them accountable? To say, look, we're going to start, film study ourselves, and we're going to hold you accountable because we know the type of standard that we would like to see and understand. In order to win natties, we know we have the formula. Now it's up to us to hold ourselves accountable and making sure that each individual is bought all the way in.
And Governor, I want to say something to you, bro. It's ironic that you brought up Dijon Lee. Now let me tell you something, and I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna let you have that one because I'm gonna stay in the same vein, but I'm gonna talk about this more tomorrow. But Governor, during one of the practices, it just shocked me out my shoes. They ran a pass play. They were doing some drills with the DBs and wideouts. They were doing this. They were going for this one pass play, and Gary Nussmeier, that's who threw the ball. I want to say he was throwing it to Anderson, who made the Senior Bowl. One of the DBs was all over Anderson, was all over him. But where the problem came in is that he didn't play him close enough to keep Anderson from going for the ball. But by that same token, the DB had the interception and wouldn't go for it. But what am I getting at? The coach told him, and going back to something that Bishop just said, but when you were talking about Dijon Lee, Governor, the coach told this DB, he said, player, that's your money ball. You got to get that because that was your money and you let your money get away from you. What am I getting at, Governor? You brought up Dijon Lee. Dijon Lee, as a freshman, already had the tendency to go for the money ball. It's like it's innate in him. It was already there in him. If Dijon Lee keeps that up, coupled with those other cats that's back there, and they come on like that, it's gonna be money ball city, and it's gonna begin with Dijon Lee, like you said, not Bray Hubbard, because I'm gonna go so far and say Bray Hubbard is on another level, not necessarily higher or lower, but he plays that position from a different perspective. And both of them gonna be money ball guys, but Dijon gonna be that dude, gonna be the possibility. He's got the height, he's got the build, and he's got the skill, and he uses his head, and he's a go-getter, not just for the player, but for the ball. That coach out there would have told Dijon, bruh, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money. Bishop, I heard that coach. I was sitting right there when he told the guy. He said, that's your money ball. You got to go after the money. When the ball is up like that, when it's up like that, it's up to you. That's how you get paid. That's how you get your raises. I heard the coach when he told him. And so, Governor, it's ironic that you brought that up. I forgot about that until you brought up Dijon Lee. Y'all, that's the way you got to look at it. That's how you get your money. And in the world of college football, everybody hollering about NIL, NIL, NIL. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. How you actually get NIL is how Dijon Lee, I'm just using Dijon as a example, is how Dijon Lee plays the game. That separates the guys that gets the NIL like you as we know it versus the guys who don't. And that's what we're going to be looking for. So Piano Man, just being realistic with you. Either you going after the money ball or you're going to let the money sail over your head. That's up to you. That's up to you as the player. So thank you, Governor, for that, for what you said. I agree. I agree with you. Wholeheartedly, I agree that because that dude going after the money. He's going after the money ball because that's how you're going to get paid for making plays. Not just hitting the dude and tackling, but can you make a difference in taking the ball away from the opposing offense? That's all I got to say about that.
All right. I'm done.
Can't get NIL money without NFL film tech.
I'm just saying, man.
Ooh.
You can forget
And that's
that
how you end it.
NIL thing. Say that again, Governor.
So
That's how you end it.
Can't get NIL money without NFL film tape.
You got to have a mentality for that, man. Only the strong survive. What's up, Coach Carl?
Hey.
Summons the chef, bro.
Yeah. Hey, when he just said that, think of it like this, chat. When everything else is said, you'll know them by their fruit. And you know if they're a film junkie when on 4th and 1, they play the perfect defense when you run a play that your tendencies throughout the 12 games was to run 5 around the end.
All I'm going to say.
That's the perfect time to give me a reverse.
Thank you.
You've been doing that play all game. That would have been the perfect time for a trick play. Do a reverse. Have Bernard come over, but actually hand the ball off to who was in the backfield? Hill. Bernard come over, hand off.
Exactly.
Nobody would have been on that left hand side.
Nope.
I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. I'm just
right.
My eyes don't lie to me.
But here's what we're trying to say. With that said, your tendency was never addressed, and when you ran that play, it didn't surprise anybody so much to where by the time he got to the other side, he was already being met.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, some things gonna have to change. Everything's gonna have to change this year. Everything gonna have to change this year, and everything. We're gonna get ready to get out of here, Coach Carl.
All right, thank you again.
We gonna see, but fourth quarter program's getting ready to start for Bama. We're gonna see who that motivator is gonna be, and like I said, it's just all of this is gonna be a wait and see. But as the governor so eloquently put it, when you look at it in its totality, the SEC can't talk now. Ain't nothing to talk about. Because for the last 3 years, the Big Ten has won. Has won it. And in the words of Bishop, documentation beats conversation. And so all we can say is for our teams in the SEC is put up a shut up time. Because either it means more or it doesn't. And so I just think that it's just going to be I don't even have words to say and everything, but it's going to be interesting this year for all of the SEC. So when I cover it this year, Governor, when I'm covering this year, Bishop, I'm really going to cover it all the way around, not just Bama. I'm going to cover the SEC. We'll cover college football, period. But I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give y'all a quick heads up. I'm not picking the SEC to win it this year. Again, nope, I'm not. I could be wrong, but you'll hear about more tomorrow. So anyway, parting words starting with you, Governor.
Well, like I'm always going to start. I woke up this morning, so that's a blessing in itself.
Yep.
I appreciate you always having me on. Haven't been available lately, had the kids or whatever, but it's always a blessing to wake up to wherever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with. You woke up this morning, so great. Be grateful for that. When it comes to our team, I understand that you love the team. You're going to be a diehard fan, but Piano Man is right. Be realistic. Get that fandom out of you and actually see what your team or your player is actually doing. Hold them accountable. Hold the coaches accountable. I've said this 2 years ago.
Yep.
Started the season. I said the most important person that I'm looking at is the running backs coach. Tell it, behold, look what we talking about 2 years later. The running game. Never thought I would ever hear Alabama can't run the ball. It's crazy. It's 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 mind-boggling because it went from Alabama can't never throws the ball. All they did was run. Now we can't run and all we do is throw. What are we doing here? We are now putting back into 1992 when the SEC got put on the map. That one game when the SEC got put back on the map. That interception for a touchdown from Alabama made the SEC championship game, which changed the whole algorithm of everything. Now, this team here that's coming, we know what we have. We know what came in. We might have some more people coming in. Okay, cool. Now everybody is built to be a leader. So we need to find out who our leaders are going to be. And not just a leader on the field, but off the field. And the first one in, the last one to leave. Those are the guys we need to step up. But other than that, I'm proud of you, P, for what you're doing and what you're going to continue to keep doing. You're following your dream. And if people in the chat really paid attention, this man was told that he can't do it. This man was told that you didn't deserve it. This man was told that you will never accomplish it without my help. Not me specifically, but the person that said it. He know what I'm talking about. Most of y'all know what I'm talking about. And it all just shows you don't listen to what others tell you. Others can't dictate your future. Only you can do that. So, my brother over here, my brothers, because that's what we are. We all family over here. They have accomplished a lot of things in their lives, on and off the field, in the classroom, outside the classroom. They are a walking testament right now. You do what's best for you. And that's what these players are doing and coaches are doing. Y'all want you the same thing as a human being in this chat. You do what's best for you. When you wake up in the morning, Sister Act 2, when you wake up in the morning and the only thing that you think about is singing, you're supposed to be a singer. So if you wake up in the morning and you're supposed to be a supervisor, a garbage man or woman, a mailman or woman, that's what you do. If you're going to be a custodian, you be the best custodian ever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let nobody tell you what you can and can't do in this world. Okay? I love y'all all. I'm always going to keep striding for the best, and I'm always going to bring up my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
All right.
I hear you. Thank you, JB. Thank you, Governor. Bishop, parting words.
Parting words. Understand, family. And thank you for grafting me in. Hint, hint.
Shalom, brother.
Understand that fire tests are used to show the champion in you, but you have to allow it to bring what isn't a part of that system and let it go. I'm going to let that sink. And Pianoman, as always, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this crew.
Yeah.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. You and Governor and Twister, along with Coach Carl, y'all always welcome. And y'all help keep me on my toes, help me see things from a different perspective. Bama Hater, man, what's up, bro? Welcome back. But I love what you said. Maybe 2 and 3 star Raider kids are hungrier than the 5 stars. And I think what gets lost in that a lot of time is that there are some 5-star kids that are hungry, Bama Hater, but the non-hungry ones overshadow the hungry. And so, but no more big bad wolves. The playing field is level, and that should take the excuses away. And so, appreciate that, Bama Hater, and welcome back, sir. And I'm just going to end with this. We know, and I normally don't say this, but yeah, I was told everything Governor said. Yeah, I was told that. But you know what, though? My motivation was for me. My motivation was to say that I can do this. And like I tell you all every day, if you stay focused, what my bishop says every day, if you stay focused, drive, and go forward in the name of the Lord, you can do all things through Christ to give you strength. And that even includes letting what negative people say go in one ear and out the other, and you stay focused on the prize. We've had great leaders in the past. My greatest leader were my parents. And the older I get, Bishop and Governor, the more I miss them. But the older I get, the more to their teachings I cleave, because that's what helped get them through. But they expect more of me, and I'm doing the best I can to give it. Now, with that being said, I just want everybody to know this. Be realistic. Be realistic. There's nothing wrong with being realistic. Governor said it. Ain't nothing wrong with being a fan. But there come a point when you say, dang, this ain't right. Something's not right. Listen, I'm going to put this in the way Bishop will put it. If it walks like a duck, and it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck,
it's a duck.
It's a duck. If it looks bad and runs bad and it smells bad, it's bad. Same thing works on the positive side. You got to be realistic. So I'm just saying, this is going to be an interesting spring, regardless of who your team is. It's going to be an interesting spring.
And purge your seafood.
Purge your seafood.
Purge it. I'm gonna leave it there. Purge your seafood.
Matter of fact, Governor. Matter of fact, Bishop, I'm going to the bank, handle up on this little business here, and I'm going to get me some crawfish. The crawfish, before, and those of you that understand the struggle, you've got to purge the crawfish before you eat them. In other words, you got to get the junk out. Don't nothing taste no worse than some junky crawfish that have not been purged. So the point that I'm making is, don't be afraid to purge your team. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be ashamed to do it. Purge, because I'm going to tell you what, and demand for purge, demand for cleanliness, demand that this stuff be cleaned up. Because I told y'all this, and I don't mean to brag, and I'm going to say this earlier. I don't mean to brag. But how many times did I tell y'all that the X factors would be the O-line, or for the O-line, it would be the O-line, for the offense would be the O-line, Ryan Grubb, and injuries. How many times did I tell y'all on the defense that the X factors would be the D-line, Kane Womack, and injuries? Who ended up being right? Me. I ain't asking for no credit for it, but that's the way that it happened. And I also asked y'all, the governor will attest that going in to week 10, we were still suffering with a week 1 problem. Going into week 12, Alabama was suffering with a week 1 problem. And it came back to homes.
Not this year. A week 1 problem from last year.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. A week 1 problem from last year that was never settled. And that can't happen this time. So with that being said, that's our show for today. Stay focused, drive, and go forward in the name of the Lord. You can do all things through Christ that gives you strength. And just remember, this kitchen's still big enough for everybody to cook in and for everybody to get something to eat. And always remember, Piano Man don't know everything. I just know what I'm talking about. No expert, but I do know what I'm talking about. So on behalf of the bishop, on behalf of JB, I saw Twister in the chat. Roll Tide to you, brother. I saw Icebox in the chat. Roll Tide, brother. And I saw Coach Carl in the chat. Roll Tide to you. And for all the 401k crew and 401k, I got a call. I'm gonna make y'all. I'm gonna call y'all this evening. I got something to run by y'all. And for everybody, be realistic. That's our show for today. Be realistic. And I guarantee you, you'll feel better when you start purging your crawfish. You feel better. You feel better, and your crawfish gonna taste better. Happy gumbo eating. Happy gumbo eating, everybody. I'm going to get some crawfish now. And so with that being said, the chefs are out. The kitchen is closed. Piano Man is out. Shalom, shalom to everybody.
Shalom, shalom.
Roll Tide. See you in the morning.